Good morning. I will first ask the hearing team to go ahead and elevate our court reporter, please.
Good morning, Hearing Officer Kinsey. Can
Good
you hear me?
morning.
Good.
Yes, I can. And are you ready for us to get started this
I
morning?
am ready whenever you are.
Wonderful. Thank you. I will start with introductions per our usual practice. Good morning. It's December 10th, 2025. I'm Nicole Kinsey, presiding hearing officer for the Administrative Hearings Office of the State Water Resources Control Board. This is the hearing on the pending petitions for change of water right permits 16478, 16479, 16481, and 16482 of the Department of Water Resources for the proposed Delta Conveyance project. I am conducting this hearing in accordance with the July 31st, 2024 Notice of Public Hearing and subsequent amendments. This hearing is being conducted by Zoom webinar and is being broadcast live on the AHO YouTube channel. The audio and video of the hearing are being recorded, and we will post files of this recording in the FTP folder for this proceeding. The YouTube recording will also be available on the AHO YouTube webpage. We do have Nicole Mullen, Ms. Mullen, with us today, handling the sharing of exhibits. So if you are a cross-examiner today, you may simply ask Ms. Mullen to bring up a particular exhibit. We had an efficient day yesterday, and I believe at this point we just have two remaining witnesses to testify with respect to their, or to be questioned with respect to their site visit testimony. We have Mr. Hoovel and Mr. Elliott, as I understand. I did state that I would entertain any procedural issues that we may need to address first thing this morning, and then we can move to our witnesses and hopefully have a pretty short day and release all of you to do other things. We had talked yesterday, and I need to circle. I just haven't had a chance to circle back to my team with respect to the what we were calling the site visit exhibits. So we will get those as soon as possible. We will get those identified and make sure they're included in the exhibit list. And I understand there may be some back and forth on that, and we'll figure out an appropriate time to include them in an offer. And then I also noted DWR's request that we make an offer of at least the EIR related AHO exhibits sooner rather than later so we can deal with those. So I will look at all of that and figure out an appropriate schedule. Other than that, are there other procedural issues we should talk about today? If we can please elevate Ms. Meserve. Good morning, Ms. Meserve.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Here we are again. Fine, thank you.
Yeah, just on the issue of the EIR related exhibits, your reference to that reminded me that quite some time ago I had contacted your the hearing team regarding the fact that the complete EIR map book actually wasn't listed in the hearing officer's list of exhibits, and it kind of relates to the site visit exhibits.
Mhm.
Um, so I would think that the entire map book should be included as a matter of course that accompanied the final EIR. And so I just bring that up as a reminder that it
Yeah,
could be that there's not currently, as I recall, there was a first page of a map book was an AHO exhibit, but the entire map book was not included. And that was part of the reason why when we put together some of the site visit exhibits, they were materials that were not already AHO exhibits.
thank you. That is a very helpful comment. I I will think about it, but I would think that we would want the map book in as part of the final EIR and as a document that would need to be part of our administrative record and our evidentiary record. So I thank you for bringing that up, and we will look into that. And if presumably if that's appropriate, we will. I don't know if it'll make sense to break it up. We'll add them as AHO exhibits and then bring them in with the rest of the EIR related documents. So thank you. Is there anything else procedurally? Otherwise, I will look to elevating the appropriate participants for cross-examination. All right, we have, let's see, Ms. Meserve. We will, if we can please elevate Ms. Morris. And then Ms. Meserve, are we starting with Mr. Hoovel? I think that's what we'd indicated, but I just wanted to confirm. Yes.
Sure, yeah, I mean, they can both come up as a panel. I think they're both ready, although I assume they will be done in series.
All right, that makes sense. Let's bring both up. So if we can please elevate Mr. Hoovel and then also Mr. Elliott. And then let's please elevate Ms. Carroll just in case. And is there anyone else in the room who we should elevate at this time? And good morning, Ms. Morris.
Good morning, Stephanie Morris on behalf of the Department of Water Resources.
Thank you. And good morning, Mr. Hoovel. Just a mic check. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Good. And do you recall previously taking the oath with respect to your testimony in this proceeding?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And Mr. Elliott, if you would please, I'll go ahead and ask you the same question. You might as well come on camera and we will do a quick mic check here. And in the meantime, good morning, Ms. Carroll.
Good morning, Hearing Officer Kinsey.
And I see, while we're waiting for Mr. Elliott to, if you would please, Mr. Elliott, if you can, come on camera and off mute when you have a moment. But to the hearing team, if you would please elevate Mr. Cho. Good morning, Mr. Elliott. I see you are off mute, but not yet on camera, if your intent is to be on camera.
Morning, Hearing Officer Kinsey. I would just appreciate the opportunity to be elevated. I don't plan on participating in this, but may have a need to.
Sure. Thank you. And good morning.
Should I begin?
Well, let's see if we can get Mr. Elliott on camera.
Oh, okay.
And I think you're off mute, but we may also have an audio connection issue. We may need to troubleshoot over a break. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and start with Mr. Hoovel. We'll take a break after that, and if needed, we can do some troubleshooting on Mr. Elliott's connection to at least get audio, if not video as well. So let's start with that. Ms. Morris, do you have questions for Mr. Hoovel?
I do. Good morning, Mr. Hoople. How are you?
Good morning. And I'd like to just point out the spelling of my last name is incorrect. It's actually Heuvel.
Thank you for that, and I apologize. Our team will fix that shortly.
Okay. I think it might be easiest to pull up Miss Mullen Worcester 2, which was part of, well, let me ask you, Mr. Hoovel, let me pull it up. And Mr. Hoovel, do you recall referring to this exhibit during the site visit?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. And I'd like to ask you why you assumed and stated regarding I think you called it the auxiliary pump station that is marked on this map as S019784 off Snodgrass Slough, that you would have to take water from that location if the Delta Conveyance project was built.
Objection asked and answered. This was covered in the cross-examination that occurred on the 6th of October.
I'll go ahead and allow this just to get us reoriented here, but it sounds like we should move through this quickly, Ms. Morris. So please, Mr. Hoovel.
I would say my assumption that that would be our source of water, is because our two diversions that the active diversions that we're currently using, the Worcester 54 and Worcester 55, are within the footprint of the intake.
And do you have any reason why you believe that those cannot be rebuilt or or moved on the property to be able to divert water from the Sacramento River directly?
There's been no, I guess I haven't seen a diagram or anything that shows those diversions being moved.
Well, do you believe it's impossible to move those locations?
Objection, incomplete hypothetical.
I'll allow it, Mr. Hoovel. I mean, you can caveat that as appropriate.
I mean, just looking at, so I'm looking at the other, I'm not sure which diagram this is. There was one that showed the project, the intake C5 site layout. Just looking at the impact of the project and the footprint of where the Worcester property starts and ends, I don't see anywhere within the footprint of that tunnel intake where those could be relocated.
Mhm. Do you believe it's impossible to locate an intake inside of that footprint?
I would,
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
Okay. Do you recall talking about the water quality in Snodgrass Slough during the site visit?
Yes.
Objection asked and answered.
Hearing Officer Kinsey, I have like 10 questions for this witness. I'm trying to clarify some things that were not specifically answered or where there may be some contradictions in the testimony. That's
No, I understand, Ms. Morris. I mean, I think it's a fair question to ask whether it's overruled. Please, Mr. Hoovel.
Hearing Officer Kinsey, I mean, just to clarify, we had a very extensive testimony and cross-examination with both of the witnesses that are up for cross-examination today. Then they opened up their
Ms. Meserve, Ms.
in
Morris
order-
asked Mr. Hoovel if he remembers testifying about water quality in Snodgrass Slough. She couldn't possibly have asked that question on cross-examination. So let's at least get a question on the table, and then we can have this discussion as to whether it's appropriate. So, Mr. Hoovel, please.
Yes, I do remember referencing the water quality at Snodgrass Slough.
And do you recall in your testimony that you provided at the site visit saying that the water from Snodgrass Slough was feeding through Stone Lakes National Refuge?
Back feeding through, yes, those are interconnected.
Okay. And how often do you use the auxiliary pump off of Snodgrass Slough?
I could answer, we don't use that pump off Snodgrass Slough.
During the site visit, you stated that you have used the pump off Snodgrass Slough in an emergency situation, correct?
Correct.
Objection, this ground was also covered in the cross-exam on October 6th.
Overruled. I'll allow this. It seems to be limited so far. So please.
Yes, so we did have a situation where we had to use that pump.
So you've used it in once.
Since the vineyard has been in production, yeah, I would say there was for sure once that had been used.
And when was the vineyard first in production?
I'd have to look back to find the exact date. Would you like me to give you an estimated date?
No, because I think there's enough dates on, and I want to ask you about some of the dates. So I do not want an estimate of a date. Do you recall talking about in more detail at the site visit the trellis system located on this property?
Objection. This was the trellis system was discussed in detail as well on October 6th.
And I do recall that, but let's see where Ms. Morris is going, please, Ms. Morris. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Hoovel, I think there's a question pending.
Yeah, I do remember referencing the trellis system.
What kind of trellis system is in place on this property? For example, is it a vertical chute position, a hardy cross, a Geneva double curtain, a modified Hudson highway?
So we call it a quadrilateral, a VSP quadrilateral.
And what does VSP stand for?
Vertical chute positioning.
Thank you. Do you recall stating in your testimony at the site visit that the only Chardonnay grapes grown by your entity is at this vineyard?
Could you repeat that question?
Do you recall stating at the site visit that the only Chardonnay grapes grown in Clarksburg were located on this vineyard? I'm sorry, and I should be clear, shown on the map that we're looking at, Worcester 2.
Objection. Asked and answered. This is covered on page 182 of the transcript.
Also, objection misstates testimony. Transcript says that Mr. Hoovel said that this was their only Chardonnay holding in Clarksburg, not the only Chardonnay holding.
Well, let's
What's the
clarify this.
question?
So it sounds like we need some clarification. So Mr. Hoovel, please, if you would clarify this issue.
Yeah, and I believe at the site visit, the question was asked what variety we had out there, and my response to it was that was Chardonnay, and that was our only Chardonnay holding in Clarksburg that McManus owns or controls.
And where else does McManus grow Chardonnay grapes?
Our only other Chardonnay holding is South Valley, San Joaquin County, located in town of Manteca.
And how large is that vineyard?
That vineyard producing acres out there is 480 acres.
Okay. And I'm just looking for clarification about what you meant in the site visit about being a bulk wine supplier. Do you sell grapes or do you sell wine?
Both.
Okay. And you talked about in your testimony before, but more specifically with different dates, you stated at the site visit that you supplied one particular winery since 1998. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And what winery is that?
I'd prefer not saying. That's not public information that I want people to know who.
That's fine. I'm just looking for a name to call it. So how about I just call it the winery you stated you've supplied since 1998?
Fine.
Does that work for you?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So for the winery that you've supplied since 1998, is that wine or is that grapes?
That relationship started off as grapes. That was before the winery was built. And then that transition into, once we started becoming a bulk wine supplier, that transitioned into a bulk wine relationship.
And when you say you have had a relationship since 1998, is that a long-term contractual relationship or is that a relationship with many 1 to 3 year contracts?
Objection. Relevance.
What is the relevance, Ms. Morris?
Well, the implication is that there's a contract since 1998, and there's confusion in the record because previously Mr. Hoovel stated that within those relationships were probably 10 years or more, but the contracts were 1 to 3 year periods at a time. So I'm looking for clarification on the meaning of
what is the relationship, but what is the relation to the hearing issues?
Well, there's been a claim for injury as to taking out this particular vineyard, and how it may impact their contractual relationships, none of which the contracts have been provided. And so I'm trying to understand the nature and the term of the relationship and whether there could be any potential impacts from a portion of this vineyard not being able to be in production.
And let me, Ms. Meserve, just to clarify, is the claim of injury, is there a claim of injury with respect to impact to these contracts that are in place?
I'm looking at the protest. I honestly don't recall mentioning the contracts in the protest. The protest referred to the water rights and the injury, the physical injury to the diversion, the ability to divert the water, as well as the concern regarding the drainage and the water quality.
If Ms. Reserve and Mr. Hoovel are willing to state on the record that they're not claiming any injury from the property related to the contracts, I'm happy to move on. But the implication from the testimony provided is that they are.
No, I understand, Ms. Morris. This is why I'm asking Ms. Meserve whether you are willing to take a position here or not. In one case, I will allow Ms. Morris to continue her questioning. In the other case, then this is not relevant. So I am putting you on the spot, but here we are.
Yeah, well, I think I have to go back to I mean, I think I wouldn't, Mr. Worster's, he'd be limited to whatever the protest says. So are you saying, Ms. Morris, that you think the protest claims injury to a contract? Because I don't recall that, and I would have to take a minute to go review it if you want me to.
I do not think it does, and I do not think the contracts were provided. Yet I am in a situation in which people put things on the record that come in, and I have to I have to understand them before I know if they're excluded or not.
So I think, Ms. Meserve, if it is going to take time to go back and look at this, we can consider whether any responses to the cross-exam should be struck. But since we're sitting here today, and I think, here we are. So with that, Ms. Morris, I think you need to repeat the question at this point.
Right. I mean, I will say, I think the relevance of the contracts, in as much as it's mentioned in the testimony, was to the concerns about overall the impact on agriculture and the public interest, and that may be why the contracts were mentioned.
And this may be an opportunity for a stipulation, a factual stipulation that, or I guess be more of a legal stipulation as to the claims being made with respect to injury. But I will leave that to the two of you to work out outside of our room here. So Ms. Morris, please.
Okay. Do you recall stating, okay, so let me go back. I'm trying to remember the question at this point. You stated that you had a relationship with one winery in particular since 1998. And my question is whether or not that is a long-term contract, or that relationship, as you define it, is a series of 1 to 3 year contracts with that particular winery.
Yeah, no, I can answer that. It is the specific winery. They are, 1 to 3 year contracts. And if I can just clarify also, that winery specifically is asking for fruit from that property. As you mentioned, our other Chardonnay holdings, they're not asking us for fruit from that vineyard. They're asking us for fruit specifically from the Worcester property.
Okay. And currently that's for fruit. So that contract that you just discussed for this winery, the 1998 relationship for this particular contract is not for wine, it is for grapes.
Excuse me, let me clarify. It is for wine. So there's 3 different ways we can provide product to a winery. We can do a grape deal. We can do a juice deal where we bring the fruit into our facility, we crush it, we sell it to them as juice, and then they bring it to their facility and ferment it. And then we can sell them wine, which is finished fermented. So our current, or I guess our previous year, we sold them fruit from that property.
Okay. And that is for a 1 year contract?
That was a 1 year deal, and we're in the middle of negotiating a juice deal off that property currently.
Okay. And are you willing to provide those contracts, those previous contracts?
Yes, I could provide those if needed.
Okay. And let me ask you a question just in general then. So wine, juice, or grapes, you stated in your previous testimony that those are usually 1 to 3 years and they don't go beyond 3 years. Is that still accurate as to all of the other wineries that you are dealing with?
Just the state of the current wine industry, the wineries aren't speculating on long-term contracts right now. A lot of wineries are just looking for 1 year deals.
Okay. Um, I need to clean up. Like, did you state on the tour that the lease with McManus for the Mercer Ranch property began in 2008?
I believe that was 2018.
Okay, I heard 2008 on the tour and the video, but when I went back and looked at the record, it stated that you signed the lease in 2017, but it became effective in January of 2018. Can you please clarify so that I have the correct dates?
So I just pulled the lease agreement up, and the lease commenced on January 1st of 2018, and it expires on December 31st of 2042.
Okay. And you stated on the site visit that it would take 5 years to produce grapes from this property, correct?
From the time that we begin development until that vineyard is in what we would call full production.
So does that mean that this 2025 would have been the first year that that vineyard was in full production?
We would have began if the lease commenced in 2018, we would have started producing in 2021.
Okay. What do you mean by development? If it was in development?
So by like when we start development, let's just assume there's not an existing vineyard that needs to get removed. There's about a year's worth of just ground prep that goes into getting the soil ready, deep ripping it, and then it takes about another year after that to establish the trellising system. Once we plant, so year 3, well, into year 2, beginning of year 3, we would put the vine in the ground. That would get basically grow for 1 year to get the roots established. And then we cut those back the following winter. So we'd basically be taking all of year 3 and year 4 to establish the vine. And then the following year that would come into production.
Okay. So for this particular vineyard in 2018, you were developing the ground.
Correct.
And in 2019, you were developing the trellis system.
Yeah, installing the trellis system.
And then, so the first year of production where you actually produced grapes was actually in 2021, you said?
Would you like me to give you an exact?
Just a year.
Um,
It seems like less than 5 years, but as this group knows, I'm terrible with math. So I'm trying to understand on this particular ranch from how many years until the grapes were in production and you could sell them or make wine or make juice?
I believe it was, 2021 that we got our first production off of that.
So 4 years then.
Yes.
Okay. And so you were obviously not supplying grapes to the 1998 winery from this vineyard in 1998 or any time before 2021.
I don't believe so.
And just another question is I think you stated on the site visit that this ground in particular was something you were looking for because it was, I think, virgin ground. Do you recall that statement?
Virgin grape ground, yeah. So that property had not seen a vineyard before.
Okay, so by virgin you mean it hadn't had any grapes planted on it. You didn't mean that it hadn't had anything planted on it.
Correct. It had not had grapevines planted on it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate all of those clarifications and information, and I don't have any further questions for you at this time, Mr. Hoovel. I hope you have happy holidays.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you, and I will look to the room. Does anyone else have questions for Mr. Hoovel? Just to confirm. Then with that, I want to thank you, Mr. Hoovel, for joining us once again. I really appreciate your time and your testimony, and thank you for answering Ms. Morris's questions today, and you are excused. Thank you. Looks like, Mr. Elliott, we have you on camera, so I think we can move right over. We will also check your audio, but I will start with the question. Mr. Elliott, do you recall previously taking the oath with respect to your testimony in this proceeding?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Then let's move straight to it. Ms. Morris, do you have questions for Mr. Elliott?
I do just have a few. Ms. Mullen, if we could please pull up what's been marked as Elliott 3, which was a site visit handout as well. Okay, and just to orient us, Mr. Elliott, are you familiar with this exhibit?
Yes.
And is this an exhibit that you referred to in your testimony previously and at the site visit?
Yes.
And looking at the parcel that's shown on Elliott 3, is it correct at the site visit that you testified that this particular orchard was 200 acres?
Yeah, the parcel itself is 200 acres, correct.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
Of the 200 acres, how many acres are in production?
Give me a second. Oops. 132.
132. Thank you. And you also stated that the Elliott family farms approximately 1,700 acres, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
correct.
where are the locations of those other acreages?
They primarily are all within the Cortland area. We have one ranch that's technically in Walnut Grove, but most of them are in Cortland or Walnut Grove.
Okay, thank you. Regarding the parcel that's shown on the map, marked Elliott 3, you talked about the diversion point being marked as SO 16915 on this map, correct?
Yes.
And why do you think that that diversion point will not be replaced if the Delta Conveyance project is built?
Well, if you could see the outline or the footprint of the proposed project, both permanent infrastructure and temporary infrastructure, it takes up the whole waterfront area where our parcel is. So it's hard to imagine a different area where there could be another diversion point, being that the project's going to, completely, all the waterfront's going to be used in this proposed project.
Do you have any reason to believe that there cannot be a diversion point added within the infrastructure for the Delta Conveyance project to reach the remaining parcel?
Asked and answered.
Overruled, please, Mr. Elliott.
No, I don't think so, because I mean, you could see clearly here in this handout that the project is going to completely be on the waterfront area of our project, and I don't see a way for a diversion point with all the different infrastructure that the proposed project needs. I don't see, you know, a way for us to have a diversion point to irrigate the remnant land.
Okay.
Because I mean, especially with the mainline infrastructure that has to go in, yeah, there's really no way that I see, based off this diagram here or this handout, for that to happen.
Do you think from an engineering standpoint it's impossible?
Mm. At this, I mean, you know, this is just kind of an overlay outline. There would have, at this time, I would say, based off this illustration, I would say no.
It's not impossible.
I don't know if it is possible.
From an engineering standpoint. You don't know. I'm just trying to, he's not actually, I'm just trying to make sure my question's clear.
I don't, yeah. Well, the whole intake, you know, this whole proposed intake is completely on the riverfront area of our property, of this parcel that we farm. And I mean, this parcel as it stands is going to get completely, you know, this proposed construction is going to totally change everything about this parcel. And I don't see a way for a diversion point, another diversion point, to be put in to irrigate the remnant land.
Why do you think the drainage on this parcel cannot be re-engineered and replaced?
Well, this drainage system has been has been in place for over 100 years, and it has, you know, it incorporates the town of Hood and the two parcels north of us. And you see the footprint of the project, and it basically is wiping out all the drainage lines that exist right now. So as it stands, I mean, this drainage system as it stands, you know, would be completely destroyed. You know, and that's, yeah. So
I understand you think it's going to be destroyed, but my question is, why do you think it cannot or will not be replaced?
Well, the drainage lines won't be replaced, being that they will be destroyed. Or so.
I'm sorry, did it freeze, or did you just pause?
No, Mr.
I
Elliott
was just pausing.
was thinking.
Yeah,
We
I
may
was
have
done.
another question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Mr. Elliott.
No,
I
I'm
think
done.
you've responded to Ms. Morris's question. Did
I
you
did.
Yes, so I think it's back to you, Ms. Morris.
Okay. But if it's quote unquote destroyed, hypothetically, the drainage line, why don't you think it can be replaced?
There could, the way, I mean, our ranch specifically, the whole, you know, there's a concern for Hood, because that runs through the ranch. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think if anything, I don't think anything could be re-engineered to kind of match this system, obviously. But um, you know, there might be. Yeah, I don't think this system and that is how it currently runs and operates could be replaced or redesigned with the proposed project.
Okay, have you consulted with an engineer to determine that the infrastructure, both irrigation and drainage lines, cannot be replaced or relocated to serve the same purpose?
Objection outside the scope.
I think that may be fair, Ms. Morris. We seem to be straying beyond the site visit testimony.
Well, during the site visit testimony, this witness said that all of this is going to be destroyed. He talked about in detail the drainage to hood, and I'm just following up on that.
Let's move on. I mean, I think that this has not been particularly productive. So I think we have our answer with respect to the drainage system.
Regarding access from 160, do you recall saying that access on the site visit could not be maintained could not be maintained along Highway 160?
Well, as you see, once again, this handout that's in front of us that we're all looking at, we access the ranch and the parcel from Highway 160. The proposed project is spanning from north to south, south to north, completely blocking off access to our parcel from the highway. So yeah, access is a big concern for the remnant land.
So you recall saying that on the site visit, correct?
Can you say that one more time, what I said?
Do you recall on the site visit saying that you access from 160 would be a potential issue and whether or not it could be maintained?
Yes.
Okay. And did someone tell you that there would not be an access easement granted?
No one's mentioned that, but that's assuming that an easement is granted.
Correct. During the site visit, you provided figures for the cost to plant a new orchard in response to a question from Director Slater from the North Delta Water Agency. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And the information that you provided on the site visit regarding that cost, was that information that was provided in your written testimony presented in this hearing?
I don't believe it was.
Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate you coming back, and I hope you have a great holiday season. And I'm going to go eat some pears.
Thanks.
And just to confirm, I'll look to the room. Does anyone else have questions for Mr. Elliott?
If just to confirm, I know no one's been doing redirect on this. It doesn't seem that are you allowing redirect, officer?
I don't think, no, I'm not allowing redirect because there was no direct. So that's where we are. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Just checking.
It's fair to it's always fair to check. So with that, Mr. Elliott, thank you so much for spending the time to return and join us this morning. Thank you for your testimony and for answering the questions today, and you are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you. A minor procedural follow-up, I think, for you, Ms. Meserve, which is my team, and I have not had a chance to verify this, of course, because I've been sitting here, but my team tells me that they believe the map books for the EIR have been identified as AHO exhibits. I understand there may be, this may or may, we may need to verify this, but it looks like they've referenced AHO 1017, 1018, 1019, 1021, and 1022. And this really is DWR as well. I think it's in your interest that we make sure we have all the appropriate maps and the full EIR. So I would ask to both of you and really all the parties, if you have an interest, to take a look at that. If there are maps that or elements of the map book that you believe are missing, if you can email our office and let us know, and so we can follow up and look at that. We will also, do our homework too and just make sure that's right. But I believe those may cover the map books, possibly.
Okay, so that's 107, 108, 109, 1021, and 1022.
Yeah, 1017, I guess if we put it that way, 1017, 1018, 1019, 1021, and 1022.
Oh, okay. I was missing 0. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you. And thank you for bringing that to our attention and so we can make sure.
Great.
My intent is to close today unless there are other procedural issues we should address. Then with that, thank you for your efficiency this morning, and we are adjourned. Have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you.